Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, the man with the biggest headache known to ghetto America is still alive, still smiling, and here because this is going to be an impactful vibe session. Welcome to the Rap Sheet Podcast, ladies and gentlemen, where creatives and culture meet. My name is Daz. I am the HNIC head nerd in charge. Don't get it twisted. And what we are here to do today is really just speak on culture, politics, education, music, entertainment, and everything that has to do with all of those wonderful topics and so much more. Because the brother that is on the screen right now wears, I thought I wore many hats. This man's got me beat. This man's a pastor. He's a professor. He's a chair. He's a board of directors. He's the board chair. Father, husband, I'm assuming, lover of hip hop, professor, the dean of students. And if there's any other superlatives that I forgot, I'll let him fill in all those blanks because this man's resume is better than mine. I'm trying to catch up to him now. But this is also a very positive gentleman. Every time we spoke, it was just always love. It was always excitement because we got some things to talk about, and it's going to culminate in probably one of the dopest events that I can't wait to be a part of, Tuesday, November 13th. But we're going to get into all that as we proceed to give you what you need. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me welcome to you a very proud king of God, the one and only Dr. Emmett G. Price III is here.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Thank you. What an honor it is to be with you, man. And, a phenomenal gift you are to all of us, man, with this podcast and all the work that you have been doing for many decades now. Out here in Boston, what you did, in NYC, what you did, now in the Midwest, what you're doing and hitting us nationally with this podcast. Just a man of inspiration, a man of grace, a man of integrity, and one who knows what you're talking about. And I assume that's why you're the head nerd in charge.
Right on. Before we continue, I want to bring this brother up. This brother
El Nino.
Right, now, you want to talk about legends. I have known this guy since he was about this tall and skinnier than a rubber band that you could just fling anywhere. But everyone has a trademark. Everyone has a claim to fame. And this man, and I will fight anyone on it, is probably the dopest B-boy with the illest and the longest head spin I have ever seen over the many years that I have seen him do it, to the point where he'll remove his shirt. He will take off the hat. I don't know how he does what he does. But aside from all that, as he got older, he led more into the teacher role, the instructor role. Now he's one of the biggest leaders of the Floor Lords crew, first generation Floor Lords crew. Let's keep it 100. And there's not much more I can say about this man. Really great friend. I've known well over 30 years. And it's a pleasure to have him. Ladies and gentlemen, you all know him as El Nino, but I'm just going to call him Alex. But nah, El Nino is in the building. Floor Lords crew forever. Make some noise for my brother Alex, y'all. Indeed. Yes. See, we got the whole crew coming in. Look at this. They got Shallow in here now. Man, this is like a family reunion. I'm so excited to be amongst family. Floor Lords I know everything about, but there's a lot of people here who really don't. But I want to start with Emmett and the Floor Lords for that matter. How important is it for ethnicities of color to really, and this is not a knock towards Shallow, but we gotta hold it down for our tribe, but you're definitely part of the family tree. But as a whole, to really see where hip hop has come, because it was just two turntables and a mic and some MCs back when I was growing up. Now it has become so much more. You see it in TVs and commercials and business ads, and every billboard that you turn, you see it. It's used so mightily now. You guys are the reason why hip hop is where it is. How do you feel we've come, and what else is there to do to really push the envelope that this culture is truly groundbreaking and innovative in its many ways? Anyone can answer that.
I could jump in. Oh,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you got it, brother. You got it.
You know, one of the things I would like to see is more unity in the elements. Like you mentioned, Daz, uh, when we were younger, this hip hop thing, you know, I would go to a b-boy jam and I would see all the elements there. You know, a
Yeah,
breaking jam, I should say, because there's b-boys and b-girls. Um, but I would see, you know, black book battles, which I don't really see like that anymore. I would see the MCs supporting the breakers. You know, I've been to jams where Slick Rick has performed, Core Mega performing, you know, different Big Pun performing, you know. So I would just like to bring that back of the unity of the elements and supporting each other. You know, obviously hip hop and rap music has exploded, become the
yeah.
number one genre in the world. Um, and you know, I would just like to see more support amongst the elements. But other than that, it's been beautiful to see the evolution. You know, to see where the graffiti artists have taken it, the MCs, the breakers, you know, across the board. But I think now, as a full circle moment, we should start to bring it back to the roots of how hip hop started, and collectively put together our resources to,
Yeah.
you know, to throw major events with all the elements in it. You know,
Amen
that's
and
just
amen.
my 2 cents.
Anyone else want to jump in? And we're going to introduce the people who just came on in just a minute. So,
Come on, Shallow. I know
Yeah,
you got something.
to follow up what Pook was saying is that they separated a lot of the elements over the years. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I mean, there's a few artists that rappers like Common, KRS, they still show love to all the b boys and stuff like that.
Yep,
But
yep,
you know, they kind of went away from all the graffiti too, like on the clothes and jackets and all that stuff. You know what I mean? There's a
yeah,
lot of people out there that do graphs that, you know, they need to be recognized as you know, and you know, because especially how like a lot of clothes now is kind of like falling off, like, you know, as far as hip hop and everything. You know what I mean? You should be putting these guys to work and showing love to them. You know what I mean? Because they're very creative. You know, so. But yeah,
Mhm.
they need to start showing. They need us because we all used to, when you went to a jam, everybody would be like the DJs, the MCs would be rapping, and then the breakers would be, you know, throwing down in the jam. You know what I mean? And then
yeah.
you would people that would do your clothes when you went to a jam. You know what I mean? So you could sport their style or like, you know, their graph and everything like that on it. You know what I mean? And then people would go them to. That's how they would make their money. You know what I mean? So, you know, just to add on to that, you know.
And
right.
we
And crews, yeah. I mean, crews used to consist of everything. It's not just the breakers. So we
yeah,
had people and floor lords that could break, but their number one thing was probably graffiti. So they would do our graffiti jackets, they would do our pants, you know. And so we had graffiti artists, we had DJs, we had MCs, and we had the b boys and b girls, and that was a crew. You know what I mean? That was a real crew back in the days, and everybody would pull their weight. So like the DJs would make our the music that we perform to, our mixes that we practice to. The MCs would perform at our jams. You know, everybody would kind of pull their weight. You know,
amen,
we
amen.
still
Shout
have
out.
some of that. You know, we still have some of that. We got DJs, we got graph artists still. You know.
I want to. I want to shout out the one and only Ninja B, who I think was the first Floor Lords DJ, if memory serves me correct. Shout out to my brother
Yep.
Darren. We used to work in
Yep. Ninja
HMP
B.
together, so that's my guy. Shout out to Acrobatic, who's always a consistent Floor Lord supporter, and it's just
Yep.
so many,
Yep.
so many dope people. Shout out to Lino, who's also a dope DJ in itself as well. So big ups to my brother Lino, wherever you are, brother. I hope you get to tune in. Before we finish that question, let me just introduce everyone that just came on. What up, Dash? What up, bro? This is my other brother from another mother, and this is my first time getting to meet Air Flare and Mad. Now, MAD, I just want to shout you out because I watched the Flow Lords documentary on YouTube a couple of days ago, and you said something on there that really, really resonated with me. And I'm just going to paraphrase. Please me correct me if I say anything wrong, but you really said I was thankful for doing this, because if it wasn't for this, I probably would be locked up in jail or killed because of the environment that I was in. And I totally agree with that. How did b-boying and this culture really change and impact your life, where you can now teach others what you have learned over the years growing up as a teenager to a fully adult and now being a mentor?
I think that was actually Air Flare that said that.
Oh, what?
Yeah, Air Flare.
Yeah.
Air Flare
Oh,
might have said that.
my bad.
Yeah.
Please forgive me for that. Like I said, if I messed it up, please correct me. But
we
Yo,
both
I'm gonna go on mute because I'm getting some feedback. So I'm gonna go on mute. Somebody's
okay.
We should all go on mute.
Yeah.
Air Flare or myself could answer that, but I'll let Air Flare answer that since that was his.
Okay, so it's a pleasure to meet you all. So my name is Reggie Air Flare. So one of the reasons that I said that, and you must be talking about the Chronicle interview.
Yes.
So one of the reasons why I said that is because the environment that I did grow up in, it was pretty rough. I come from Dorchester, Grove Hall area. I'm quite sure you guys are aware of Interville and Blue Hill. The reputation that it had when the police came, the federal agents came and they raided Interville back in '95. So those guys are my childhood friends. I grew up with them. And we did a lot of things together. I've seen a lot. I've probably been involved in a lot. And so one of the things that was a pinpoint for me, or a pivotal point for me, was getting involved in the dancing. The dancing, it actually helped me to express myself and be more of myself instead of just being under the peer pressure. Because it's a lot of peer pressure, it was a lot of peer pressure growing up in those times, and growing up in the area that I did grow up in, which was quote unquote a lot of gang activity.
Mm-hmm.
So the dancing, it allowed me to be able to express myself. And I'm very humble, to be involved with the Floor Lords. Mad Mike and the rest of the crew, they helped me to come out my outer shell and get into my inner self. And when I say that, what I mean is I've always liked dancing. Dancing was a passion for me. But, growing up around certain people, I would kind of be like a little bit leery and a little bit shy or nervous to let people know, that I had a craving for the dancing. So being around the rest of the crew, it helped me to just let myself go, let myself, feel the vibe, feel the experience. And it was great. And, during those periods of times, what it did was it helped me to learn community development skills, if you might say. Okay. Because I seen the youth that were coming up under me, and some of these kids was kids that I probably had corrupted or that I probably put peer pressure on. And when I seen them coming up and having a hard time, I looked at myself, and I thank God that, the dancing plateau was there and available for me. And, as an adult, 55 years old, I see the opportunity and I'm seizing it and I want to give it back. And that's basically what I really meant by, the environment that I came in. I came from a real rough, tough, you had to be this, you had to be that way type of environment. And sometimes it's still, I'm still a little rough around the edges, but I'm learning, I'm learning to smile, and I'm learning that it's a brand new day every day. So,
Amen.
That right there is an, answer to your question, if it answered it.
Nah, it definitely did. Doc, let me get to you that same question, and then followed up by, when did you first fall in love with the culture? Song you heard, video you saw, just anyone can express that movement, but Doc, I want to start with you. So the first question and then the follow-up. I can't hear you, bro.
Yep.
There
Thanks, Dad. Appreciate that. And congratulations to you, brothers, man. It's a deep honor for us at Berkeley College of Music to honor you, brothers, man, for all that you've done over the decades, for what you started, what you served as a catalyst for, what you have represented coming out of Boston. Even as a Los Angeles native, man, you know, I want to respect, you know, where we are here. And this institution, Berkeley College of Music, sits right in Boston. And so how could we do anything that doesn't pay tribute and pay homage to Boston? And so, you know, last year when we did our event, we had Edo up in there. We had, you know, Prince Charles Alexander up in there, you know, representing Boston. And I'm excited to have you brothers on the stage with us this year. And, you know, Mother Hip Hop Cindy Diggs up there this year to do it right. So I'm going to start with that. You know, I'm out of Los Angeles, out of Leimert Park area, Los Angeles, you know, Training Day, Boys in the Hood, you know, Mauricia, all them things. And so, you know, I don't have a Boston story, but I got an LA story that's very similar. You know, when you think about hip hop and you think about going all the way back to the late 70s, early 80s and whatnot, you know, what brought us together, to your point, Alex, you know, we were broke. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I often talk about when people talk about what race is hip hop or whatnot, those are the B people, yo. We broke, you know what I mean? And broke people tend to stick together and have a shared common ideology in terms of what life could look like if we put our resources together and build a community together, right? And stop hurting each other, stop killing each other, stop traumatizing each other. And so for me, it was early on. I'm a musician, you know, I'm a pianist and you know, organist or whatnot. But the cats like y'all used to come find me to lay down tracks so that, you know, they have a little backdrop, you know, to both dance to and both flow to. And so in that sense, man, you know, I've always been a part of the hip hop space. And, you know, I can dance a little bit, not like y'all, man. So, you know, I put my cardboard away, brothers. I put my chucks away. You know, I put all my stuff away, man. I'm gonna wear this blazer to, you know, let y'all do what y'all do. But much respect, man. And you know, the other thing, Daz, man, I remember not so much the big records and the big artists, man. I remember on the schoolyard, we would listen. You know, our radio station out in Los Angeles, 1580 K Day on the AM dial, all the way to the right, 1580 K Day. We had a DJ on there called Russ Parr. He also had a pseudonym. He was called Bobby Jimmy, and he would do his stuff, man. And every Friday night, around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, man, he would play a whole album, and we would sit there with our little double cassette, you know, thing, and we would record that joker. And whoever showed up on the playground on Monday and could recite more lyrics than anybody else from that album was the king of the hill or the queen of the hill, right? And the other way that you was the king of the hill or the queen of the hill was, you know, while they was reciting those lyrics, you was either beatboxing or you was tapping something on the table, or you was breaking and locking and doing all your stuff, right? And so that's how we as kids decided that we were not going to do the gang stuff and we was going to come together as community. So for me, it was radio that, you know, I think the first album I bought, ironically, was LL Cool J's Radio, you know, with the big, you know, boombox on the front of it. But I'm like you brothers, man. Hip hop changed my life. It gave me inspiration. It gave me a lyrics that turned into the way that I speak and the mannerisms that I have. It gave me a flow and a style, and it allowed me to be different in a way that built community versus just being different from different sake. So again, you know, kudos to you brothers, you know, for what you have done and the fact that you're giving forward. Not giving back, you're giving forward with the young people who you're investing and imparting in to make sure that their lives are better than yours were at that time. That's what it's all about. Each one reach one, each one teach one, right? And let's move everything forward. So, you know, I'm happy to be with y'all, brothers. I'm excited to celebrate y'all next Wednesday. We go on the stage and do something phenomenal, unique, special, and y'all will get that award. And I'm excited for you.
I also, you know, Emmett, all serious aside, I was about to cam you down when you toured from LA, because if this dude says a story about the Yankees, how y'all beat my team, because I'm from New York originally, Yeah, your time will be short-lived on this podcast.
I can help you, man. I don't even like baseball, bro. I don't even like baseball.
I'll just pray that one. No, I'm just messing with you, brother. It's all good. I rep my city.
I feel that.
The diversity between New York, Boston, and LA are completely different in many, many facets. But the one thing I think I love seeing is just how different places in the US and the world can still speak the same language, even if it's interpreted differently. Like we had Public Enemy, LA had NWA. Over the years we grew up, we had LL Cool J. LA had Eazy-E, Ice-T, Ice Cube. But then as it got more open, like the sound changed, then we had the Far Side, and then Jurassic 5, and then Dilated Peoples and Black Alicious. We would have Pete Rock and CL Smooth, Eric B and Rakim. We could just go on and on and on and on. Which era did you all love the most? And I know we're different with different ages here. I'm 50. I'm about to be 51 soon. We have a lot of, I hate using the word millennials, but we have a lot of young kings in the building. But what was your favorite genre and why? Anyone can answer.
For me, it's 90s all day. All day, the 90s. You know, Tribe, Wu-Tang, you know, freaking The Roots, Redman, Method Man.
Amen.
Amen. Big Pun, Big L, Jay, Nas. I mean,
talk about it.
Yeah, it was a real special time. And I think what's even crazy about it and unique about it is that I don't know if anybody else on this call feels this way, but I think maybe because I was a kid at that time, but I could tell it was a special time in hip hop, even back then. Like I knew that what we were living through and the music that we were getting and the what do you call it? The not the digital era, but the analog era, right? Was something special about that. You know, I remember, you know, just like making VHS tapes. You know, at least in the breaking community, we'd take VHS tapes and we would pass them around. We would trade. You know, life was still simple. You know, it was still kind of simple back then. You know, and that's how we kind of like studied other breakers and like got inspired. I remember going down to downtown to get different tapes, get new music with my older brother, Flight. And also not only that, but get the Kung Fu DVDs so we could watch Kung Fu. I mean, not DVDs, VHS. So we could watch Kung Fu and get inspired off of that and like make up and get creative and make up moves. And that ties into like Wu-Tang and all, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just it's the 90s for me. Maybe some of the OGs, maybe it's the 80s for them, you know, Shallow or
I'm down with both eras. It's just like music always changes within its own era. Like it, you know, it migrates, it matures, it changes, and new seeds come in and they flip it. It's the same thing with b-boying and dancing. There's the old school 80s, and then there's the super crews in the 90s, and then there's the power heads in the 2000s. So it's always progressing, but my choice is the 80s rap because the beats and the lyrics were so simple, dope, and joyful, happy. And then I like the 90s boom bap. Some of it is Iggy, but the boom bap part, that's all me. So if you put me in a battle and you put a breakbeat on, I think I will outperform anyone on a boom bap or 80s track because I was never for a popping dancer. You're supposed to dance and respect the funk styles where it comes from, funk, soul, and all that good shit. But I grew up in the 80s, 90s East Coast, so my mindset is really different with the hip hop and the music.
So I agree. I'm probably going to say late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s was the best era. And the only reason why I probably would say that is because I think that was like the turn of the times. Those were the times where the struggle was real. It wasn't just given You know what I'm saying? We had to make that. We had to make examples. We had to actually work for the things that we have. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, it's more given and computerized. And even though, you know, there's messages, the messages that we had when we, you know, in that era was the trials and tribulations. You know what I'm saying? It was the turn of the century for me. It was more civil, you know, civil rights. And, you know, just more, you know, more fighting for the rights for blacks and people of all, you know, ethnic colors. And, you know, to me, that was like the pivotal point. Now it's just too easy. And, you know, these kids see that it's easy and they're just saying it. I mean, they're not saying anything. Everybody has a message, but it's easy for a lot of stuff to roll off their tongue. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's the morals are kind of diminishing, if I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Well, I think, I mean, the mainstream, you know, the
comment on that, y'all.
yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Okay. All right. How y'all doing? Mad Mike.
We blessed, bro.
All right, bless. So, all right, as the elder, I'm closer to 60. So I'll put it this way. I had chimed in and I said all errors are the ish, if you will, right? So I'm going back a lot further than the younger members that are present here. And technically it started with funk, if you will. Funk was more up tempo than our R&B was at the time. You know, OJ's, I go way back. So OJ's, the stylistic into then funk came along, Ohio players. James Brown was always the godfather of it all. So I would say everyone is correct, because whenever your introduction or exposure to the sound happened, that was your era.
Yeah.
You're going to be stuck from that point on when your ear first tuned in, right? So me coming back from the 70s, I'm fortunate enough to have been able to see the natural progression of it all up till today, 2.0. You know, with the I forget the name of the new styles now. Atlanta has it, Southern, and then New York also has the what's the other style they call it nowadays?
Crunk.
well, crunk, and what's the other dance? The something feet.
Happy feet.
What's it called?
Happy feet, happy foot, whatever they call that now.
Right.
Beats me.
Right.
Light feet. It's called light feet.
Oh,
light feet. Right. Light feet. That's what it's called. Right. So as an elder to actually have lived through the evolution of it all, it's all relevant. Whenever, like I say, whenever your ears dialed in, that was your time. Right. But it was all good.
Yeah, to add on to
Still to today.
To add on to what Mad was saying, as far as the 80s go, that's when everything started, though. Like, you know, with Run DMC, Fat Boys, Houdini, LL, all them back then, Beastie Boys. You know, that was when it started getting really big. You know, when they started recognizing it wasn't going to be a fad no more. That, you know, and I go by not just the music, but memories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as like with this crew, this is when we all met. We all started growing as people, as a crew. You know what I mean? And this is how we developed, you know, but coming together and saying, you know, we need to work together and make something of this. You know what I mean? And you know, because like every day back in the 80s was an adventure, man, with hip hop. You know, it was like, you know, we would get on the bus, the trains, you know, because we didn't have money, like you said, like you were talking about earlier, we were all poor, so we would just, if we wanted to seek out a battle, a jam, or whatever, we would just, you know, go in LA. We used to go to LA back in the 80s, and you know, remember that, man? You guys used to go to LA, and we, you know, that was like an adventure to us. You know what I mean?
Yes,
we were
sir.
like, we wanted to see what it was like, B-boying was like out there, you know. And so I go by the memories of the era. But don't get me wrong, I love the '90s too. Like all the you know, like Pook was saying, Wu-Tang, Redman, all them. You know what I mean? So you know, you just got to go with the times. It just showed how hip hop grew over the years. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Amen. Wow.
But I got to go by when it first started, man. You know, for like the memory.
I'm gonna just shout out Tupac, man. I didn't hear his name yet, so I'm gonna put his name in there. And you know, for me, man, I remember back in 1984 when the Summer Olympics was in Los Angeles.
Ooh.
And it was one of the first times, and what Shallow said was right on the money. It's one of the first times that as a nation, they chose black. What I mean by that is when they were thinking about the cultural representation of the nation, they chose y'all. They chose the B-boys and the B-girls to represent. And that opening ceremony for the U.S. Olympics in 1984 had, you know, break dancers, had B-boys and B-girls. And that was a signal of something that was interesting, right? Because right after that, corporate America said, oh, wow, we can make a lot of scratch on y'all. Right. And then we had, you know, the development of all kinds of things that actually really served to separate us. Right. We started giving each other disparaging names like gangster rap versus this and versus that and versus that. Right. Yeah. And so I think, you know, back to what Alex was saying earlier, you know, here we are in 2024, man, it's time to bring us all back together like y'all did back then. It's time to continue that movement.
And that's a beautiful point that you brought up too, Mr. Price. So from 1984, that would have been basically the prelude to 2024. So 40 years later, if I'm not mistaken, where they actually had it as part of the platform. Amazing.
Yeah. What a time will you come in where that is a thing, and we were all here to see it, except for the girl from Greece. I'm sorry.
No, well, hey, Australia, more power to her.
Well, remember, yeah, give her courage for doing that. But I was just like, bruh, really though? Like, why are you issuing?
Well, I got the backstory on that. If you guys
bad publicity is still good publicity.
It is, yeah, but I was just trying to be funny. But
yeah, there's a part of that, but now she's kind of like taking it a little bit too far now. I think she's capitalizing off of her whackness.
Yeah.
And she's because you know the way I know a lot of dancers feel this way. They kind of feel like, you know, she stole the spotlight from the actual really good talent. You know what I'm saying? And also, you know, from what I heard, she did win her spot fair and square. But part of that was because a lot of the really good dancers in Australia, they just kind of boycotted the whole situation. Wow. Because they truly felt like, you know, breaking is not a sport. It's you know, it's a culture and it's art, which is true, you know. But I think it's a little bit of both in 2024. It definitely, of course, is an art form and culture first, you know, but there is an extreme athletic ability or part to it. You know what I mean?
And B-boy competitions have been on world stages for decades, so this is not something new. We've seen this many times individually and collectively, so we're happy to see it on a big stage like this, but this has been going on. So
this is a movement of a global corporate platform, though. So it's very different from the urban criteria, the community services, the jams, what we do statewide. This was a corporate, global, big push. So I think it was a blessing in disguise. Like, you know, it was pretty dope that they could see that b-boying is part of the hip hop culture and allowing it into the Olympics. But I think they should definitely learn from what has happened and make it much more fundamental and functional.
Well, the thing about it too, you know, the thing about it as well is that because it was in Paris, there was some things they could have did a little bit differently. I think, you know, for the most part, like I was there in person, I saw it. It felt like another like big jam, so it felt authentic being there. There was just a couple things where two main mistakes they made. And again, I kind of wish like the some of our representatives here in the US would have been a little bit more involved. But because it was in Paris, there was more European aspects to a European mindset to it, you know, which is something that if us here in the US, if we would have been a little bit more involved, we had some people on the we were pushing back on some stuff and we were pushed out, you know what I'm saying, because we were asking too much questions. Because that's what we do as Americans. You know, we believe in democracy, and when we see something funny is happening, we're gonna call it out. You know, and we got pushed out as a result of that. But the main two things, I think, one of them, you know, and they should have started day one with the B-boys. And I'm gonna just say this, you know, no shade to the B girls, but because the B girls are actually usually on the dance and style aspect, they're a lot better than the B boys, and that's just because of how we're built. Women are usually bottom strong, so they're strong in their legs. Men are stronger in our upper body, so a lot of men do more of the athletic moves and stuff. I think if they would have started off day one with the B boys, people would have been amazed by it. And then day two, they would check in again to check out the B girls. But they started with the B girls first. A lot of the B girls focus on footwork. They don't do as many spins. Although there was some amazing B girls, you know, like Logistics, India, you know, 671 from China. She does a lot of crazy power. You know, but I think just you know, people just zeroing in on ray gun, you know, the negativity of that is gonna spread faster, you know. Or if they would have started off like on day two, very first battle of the of what's called a round robin battle, the very first battle was like Victor, Lything, Shigeki's, you know, that whole group of b-boys, which are like some of the best in the world. So they could have started off with that, right? Then the world, you know, but unfortunately what happened was on day two, ray gun was already going viral, you know, so people weren't really paying attention like that to what was happening with the b-boys. So that's one. And then two, there was a lot of like self-serving stuff going on, you know, like they had the money and they could have had KRS-One, Rakim, somebody big like that to perform. That didn't happen. I think they dropped the ball with that. Instead, we had like a local community rapper that performed, which was like, luckily that wasn't really live streamed, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I think that was a mistake as well. They could have put that money towards getting like somebody big like Rakim or Common or KRS or Nas, anybody, you know. So there was a couple mistakes made, but overall, I had an amazing time, and you know, it was good, you know, overall.
Well, can I add something to that? Just a refresher course. All right, I don't speak much. Everyone knows that I really don't speak much, but when I do, I'm coming from a place of wisdom. The whole premise of hip hop, if you all can recall, was based on competition, competitiveness. Who was the best DJ? Who's going to throw the best jam? Who's the best MC? Who's the best breaker? Who's the best popper? Who's the best graffiti artist? So the whole premise of our culture was a competitive one. So I just wanted to throw that in there. So always keep that in mind, because that
for sure. Yeah, there's an argument for sure. There's an argument as well where they should have had a system of vetting, you know, dancers. Because a lot of people felt like, how did she even get in there. You know what I'm saying? But the reality of it is, everywhere you go in different regions, breaking is in the most randomest corners of the world now. You know what I'm saying? I've been to Kuwait for breaking. I've been to Bangladesh, you know, for breaking. I've been to Ethiopia and met the breakers out there. I've taught online shops for breakers in Uganda. Like, breaking is all over the world now, and not everybody has like OGs that could teach them, you know. So you know, obviously, you know, some of the best countries are like America, Japan, France, you know, there, and then there's some countries that aren't as good, or some continents that aren't as good, you know, and that's just the reality of the situation, you know. But there were some dope B girls in Australia, you know, better as far as level than Reagan. But like I said, they boycotted it. You know, they should have never did that.
Therefore, she was the best they had.
Well, let's look
Yeah.
at it this way, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be in LA the next time the Olympics come back. So get Ice-T. Let's bring back Radiotron since we're going to be in LA. Let's do this the right way and really showcase what this culture is. Let's get Lazy Boy. Let's get DJs like, oh man, we can get so many great Boston DJs that know the breaks and everything. So hopefully they get it right the second time, and we will see where we are. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a great time. We've got Dr. Emmett Price. We've got the Floor Lords crew representing all four corners of the globe with hip hop. But Doc, I really want to speak on your Christian background, because as a fellow saved human being myself, it really puts us in a limited space, because and I'm sure you've heard the rhetoric, well, you're a Christian, why are you listening to that, why are you doing this, why are you doing that, you're supposed to be doing this, you're supposed to be doing that. When you hear, and Floyd, you can chime in on this too, because I'm sure you've heard so many people saying, well, you're supposed to be this, why are you teaching this people this, why are you giving back, and you know, all the negative stuff that comes with what it is that we do when we do it from here and not for this. But Doc, when you hear those naysayers out there that say you're not supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that, but you still want to do it anyway because you know there's a deeper meaning behind it, how do you combat that type of how do you combat those challenges? And tell us how you do it, bro. Because
yeah, man, you know, I come in peace, brother. So I don't combat nothing on nothing, you know.
Okay.
Now I
well,
you
you
know,
combat it with peace. Amen.
yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Because the reality is that each of us is on mission.
Right.
And the divine, you know, whether we call God or who, you know, whatever you call, has gifted you with a certain set of talents that you're supposed to use for the mission that you're on. And so nobody can ever tell me what my mission is, because that comes from on high. And I'm not supposed to be comparing my mission to anybody else's mission.
Right.
Right. And I believe that the God that I serve is the most creative entity ever, right? Because God created everything out of nothing. So why wouldn't I use my creativity to bring hope to the world, to bring, you know, peace to the world, to bring, you know, a sense of self-worth to the world, to bring community to the world, to bring a sense of, you know, coming together, right? So you know, the naysayers usually are those who just don't understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. And I try not to give people that much energy unless they ask the right questions. Now, if somebody asks me what I'm doing, I'm going to tell them, and I'm going to invite them to join me. I'm going to invite them to sit on that bench right there, and I'm going to explain to you exactly what I'm doing, because I'm on mission. Yeah. But if you showing up with, you know, hateration and with all that kind of stuff, man, I don't really have any time for you. I will actually cross the street and go the other way. You know what I mean? So I think that we, whether, you know, as believers, as disciples, we doing exactly what Jesus did, man. Jesus created on the spot from the dome. He told people stories from the dome. He walked around and, you know, and encouraged people from the dome. And he, you know, I believe that he even dropped some beats and, you know, dropped some lines and, you know, you know, even probably kicked a step or two, because that was part of the culture within the Jewish tradition. So, you know, I think we got to be careful of gatekeepers. We got to be careful of folks who also, don't understand the difference between spirituality, tradition, religion, and culture.
Right. Amen. Amen.
And
He was a
I
great
also
epiphany
wanted
anyway, so absolutely.
I wanted to add something real quick too, right? You know, just listening to you, you know, the ironic thing about it, and it's not really ironic, but I mean, it's like you put two and two together. Even from the very beginning, from the 1980s, early 80s, right? And we were kids, we were babies, and we all practiced race amity.
Yeah.
And now to this day, right, we are actually involved with an organization and a group that, you know what I'm saying, is focused on the race amity. But if you look at our crew from the very beginning, the diversity of the ethnicity involved in this group and what made this group what it is was race amity. And I got to give it to that guy right there, Mad Mike, because, you know, Mad Mike, Cisco, and Dave, they were the ones, you know what I'm saying, who started that stuff and said, look, we need to add this and this and this to this here, you know what I'm saying, bowl of soup. And from that bowl of soup, boy, it got cooking and it's flavorful. You know what I mean? And you know, that's why I said I'm proud of this.
And I wanted
But,
to
you know,
add to what DJ Daz had posed about the naysayers and what Mr. Price said. I just want to say that even Jesus, with all that he did and the miracles that he showed,
Was hated.
was still scrutinized.
Yep. Still
Amen, brother. Amen.
I would like to welcome Tron and Lino into the call. How you guys doing?
Dash, why you doing my job, Dash? Why you doing my job, Dash? Really? I'm gonna see you in Boston next week. Don't just mess with. Oh man. Tron and Lino. First of all, Lino, man.
What up?
For those that don't know,
I can't hear y'all.
Mr. Lino Delgado is just a smorgasbord of talent and one of the best leaders that I've seen really take on a structure that not many leaders would want to take on. This man, alongside Dave Crump, went into the Strand Theater to start teaching classes, and I was a part of it. We didn't do this for money. It wasn't about money. We just wanted to give back. But to see this brother just take on a crew that really defined what family really is, but then also showcase that it can be done in a city where people in Boston, and you know this if you live there, you get told all the time it's not going to work. Stop taking what LA did. Stop taking what New York did. Try to be original as much as you can, but Boston still gets the disrespect of not being an original city doing original things, and yet that is all that really Boston is truly known for, is being one of the most original cultured cities in this platform to this very day. And I think Lino and everything that he's done, from teaching classes to being a b-boy to being a DJ to being a loving husband, loving father, and all this other stuff in between, really just shines a light on how credible Lino is. Lino, my brother, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy I made it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm happy too, bro.
You
came at a time when the Floor Lords really were still just coming into their own, and you were leading this courageous bunch of individuals to do bigger and brighter things on the world stage, which they have done. Can you just describe those early moments when you were just starting to lead this pack of individuals to try to get them to where they wanted to go? What was your early vision, and how did you see that vision manifest to what it is today?
The craziest thing was I feel like, you know, I'm one of the co-founders, so my passion was always there. You know what I'm saying? I think the passion I had for getting younger people involved. You know what I'm saying? I think that was for me one of the biggest things, you know, was like kind of like to get the younger generation inspired, you know, and leading on, I just had the passion, you know, when a lot of people didn't believe, I just believed, you know, and I was just like, you know what, we're gonna do it. So I think with me being able to like teach the younger generation and keep the group motivating and keep them, you know, growing and just creating, you know, more opportunities, you know, that comes from Cisco and Mad too, because I learned a lot being around them too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, that was always like one of my things was just like, I think my passion was just so big for the dance. I loved it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I had so many creative people around me and so many talented people around me. It just
Yeah.
gave me more strength to believe more and more, you know. So I think that's what, for me, that's what kept me kind of like going, you know what I'm saying? And believing, you know, when others didn't believe, you know.
Right.
And then when we started like traveling, you know, that was a big thing was, you know, I was like, yo, I'm not just gonna stay here. I'm gonna go to different cities and I'm gonna bring the crew, you know, and I would, you know, do shows, rent the van, and we would go places. We would go to New York, we would go to DC, we would go just
Pittsburgh,
anywhere. You know what I'm
Miami,
saying? Miami, yeah, we
Everywhere.
would just we
LA.
went every LA, you know, we would just go, and everywhere we went, we just represented hard to the point
Right.
where Cat had no other way but to just give us respect because we wasn't coming into a place on a humble tip. We would come in humble, but when we got on the dance floor, we just let the music just take over, you know,
That's right.
and that's how we kind of like started building. Then when people started seeing us, then they wanted to come to Boston, you know. And then
Yeah.
with that, you know, once people seen us and was like, yo, you know, who are these guys? What do? They wanted to do more research, you know, so
Yeah.
they would come to Boston. We started throwing events, and that's how, you know, it started happening, you know. But
Right.
all that comes, you know, like I said, it comes from being around a bunch of the talented people that I was around, you know.
And I wish Snow could be here because Snow is one of those great examples. She went on to become one of Marky Mark's dancers back in his early time. And man, and Snow wasn't even a dancer. She just went and just got captivated by it and learned her craft and became one of the best dancers in the Boston area. So salute to Snow wherever you are. Peace and blessings to you. What up, Tron?
What's good?
Long time no see, my brother. Salute to my brother Megatron, man. Shoot,
Absolutely.
this guy right here, man. You thought Mr. Wave was dope? I'll put my money on Tron every single day. Tron, in your early days as a floor lord, even before you joined up with the crew, what was your passion for wanting to be one of the illest dancers? And just really, really hone into this craft and become one of the pioneers that you are today. When did your early days start, and how did it go from that to where we are now?
Well, basically, before I got in the crew, I was always dancing by myself, you know, trying to make a name for myself because that's what it was all about, battling everybody and being able to make a name for yourself. Once I got down with the crew here, Mad, Cisco, you know, they kind of recruited me, and I was like, okay, that's cool. Gonna need another popper, man, because I can't just do it by myself. So we grabbed Andre Hunter, and then after we grabbed Andre, we grabbed Shallow. After we grabbed Shallow, we had Dash, Domino, and you know, it became like a conglomerate. You know what I mean? And it was like fair to say we grabbed like some of the illest poppers, everyone who was original from their own, you know, city. Like
We're missing ACH and Turbo.
Oh
Turbo.
yeah, I really didn't. I
That's
really
the
didn't
poppers,
count Turbo, but You stole the radio. But
Right.
Turbo was still my man.
We need to find.
Actually, I did forget somebody. Albert Day.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah,
Albert
Day too. Yeah.
Yeah, Albert Day was one of the funkiest cats coming out of Jamaica Plain.
And
I used to
Boy
see
was
him
one of
pop all the
first
time. When me and him used to battle Joe Rock and them cats over at the Hennigan. And man, it was back. That was the good times back then. That is way before the 80s. I was like in 78, 79, around them times.
I was 4 years old.
Yeah, and then moving on, we was able to put together a lot of routines as a crew. You know, being in a crew, see, that's one thing a lot of cats nowadays don't have is poppers in their crew. That's something like a floor lord thing, like a floor lord tradition where we have poppers in our crew that is so nasty you can't beat them in breaking, you can't beat us in popping. So we had to make sure that we try to dominate everything.
Wow.
You know, to go back what Airflare said earlier, the whole bowl of soup, you didn't know where we were coming from. We had so much stuff in this crew, man.
Right.
We had so many weapons. We were deadly, man. You know, they had the 5 deadly venoms, or we were like the 20 deadly venoms.
That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Deadly,
and like Lena was saying,
we're still deadly.
Like Lena was saying, you know, we had no problem. Yeah, like Lena was saying, we had no problem going to New York. We had no problem going to LA. We had no problem going to Chicago, Detroit, any of these places, and you know, kind of put the flag down, man, because it was kind of like saying, we know what we can do, but we want to see what you can do with us. And that's not a cocky thing, but it's kind of like a competition thing. Because breaking, rapping, all the elements is very competitive. You got DJs that compete. You got MCs that battle each other. You got graffiti artists that battle each other. And last but not least, you got dancers that battle each other. So this whole culture is built on battling and is built on seeing who's who and why you are who you are. So that's the thing that we love the most, especially when it comes to dancing, is we try to make sure that the Floor Lord name is a household name. We want to make sure that everyone understands where we come from, the grit and the grind. We were like the most like low-level scummy cats from Boston, Dorchester, Roxbury. And what we did was
Randolph.
Randolph, all these places. Yeah. All these crazy places.
Quincy.
Massachusetts.
Places you wouldn't even think there was talent at. Quincy. You know what I'm saying? Grabbing cats from Cambridge. So my thing is,
Rhode Island. Yep.
Yeah. When we put all this stuff together, man, we were thinking of trying to be the best. That's it.
The best of the
we
best.
We weren't thinking of, okay, let's just do a nice routine and a nice show and get paid and get out of here. We were thinking like, we want to be the best. When we battle people, we want to be known as someone who put their foot down.
Right.
And I think that not only from Mad, Cisco, Dave Corella, not just from Lino, El Nino, and all these cats that has reigned supreme in the group, but also the fact that me, Shallow, we created an offshoot and kept things going. And we wanted to make sure that the Floor Lord name continues its legacy. So we created offshoot groups, but it was always Floor Lord banner under the Floor Lord name. So those banners are all combined right now. And it's 43 years of excellence going on 44. So that was our thought back in the late 80s, but not in the early 80s when I first began. When I first began, I was in one of the wackest crews in the world called Cosmic Reaction. And what it was, Leno's laughing. And what it was, you know, a lot of people, but that was Ray Samity there too, kind of like what Reg was talking about. But at the same time, we were trying to focus on who is the best in the city. And when Cisco and Mad started recruiting people, that's what they was looking for. And when they got a hold of Leno, when they got a hold of me, when they got a hold of all these other dancers, it is what you see right now, brother. Is what you see right now. We put
We
all that
started in
down.
the street though. We all started in the street.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
Mad and Cisco was like the ones who kind of like, created that relationship
Right.
just from giving us opportunities to go make money. We were all hurting. Like our parents didn't have money.
Mine neither.
So they kind of opened up the doors for us and brought us into their realm to actually put money in our pockets. You know what I'm saying? So for us, like that's how we kind of like we knew each other from cyphers, from dancing. 1978, 1979, we saw each other,
Right.
at different places, but it wasn't until they kind of opened that door up for us to really like hang out and eat together.
Yeah.
Kind of like was like building a relationship. We kind of start hanging out with each other. We became a family quick.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
Like quick. We became a family quick. Then, when we start like traveling, going to New York, and we ended up, battling probably the two of the best b-boys in the world at that time.
Absolutely.
Was Tino and Float. Connecting with those brothers, when we connected with those with Incredible Breakers, it even made us even better.
It did.
Because we were able to go to New York a lot more. We were able to practice with those guys. We did a movie with those guys. We actually was in Crush Groove with them.
Yep, absolutely.
Cisco, Mad. I don't know if Tron ever made it to some of the filming.
No, I didn't make it.
But we would go to New York. We would film. I started hanging out in New York, and that would help me come back and teach more kids. You know what I'm saying? We had a whole other crew, Flow Lords too, which later on when a lot of the elder members started leaving, those guys were the ones who stepped up to the plate.
Yeah.
So it kind of kept the group going. You know what I'm saying? Like generations and generations. Now I don't even know how many,
That'd be at least 30.
How many generations we have now?
Way too many. Way too
It's
many.
a lot of generations. Like I said, we did it's over like 50 members.
It's big, yeah.
Really is.
Oh, and I like to always remind everyone, especially for yourself, DJ Daz and Mr. Price, the eldest member at the time Lino was talking about when we started traveling to New York here and there was 16 years old.
Yeah, that was Cisco. I was like 14.
So we're still juveniles, if you will. no parental guidance whatsoever. No cell phones in sight.
Nope.
But this was, like I said, was ordained by God. Go ahead.
I want to quickly toss it to Dr. Price because he's got to go. You've been a professor at Harvard, BU, Andover, Brandeis, and now you are the dean of Berklee College of Music and the Africana Studies.
Nice.
And I think this is the first time where a culture or a leader of hip hop gets to be at the forefront of a school that really didn't accept hip hop, and in some cases really still doesn't. Because I know they have DJing classes there and all this. Your goal is to enlighten the culture that doesn't know about hip hop, while giving many ethnicities a chance to get educated through this wonderful platform. What is your mission statement? And then let's quickly talk about the 13 so we can get you out of here because I know you got things to do. So just answer that question and let's get right into it.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that, my brother. My mission statement is what John Coltrane said. I just want to be a force for good.
Amen.
Right? John Coltrane said that. And, one of the things about life, I shared where I was from the Leimert Park area of Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. I know Leimert Park.
That's what I'm talking about.
Leimert Park. Yeah, I've done
That's what I'm talking about. So, to be where I am now in my career, like, how could I live with myself if I don't turn around and honor the folks who inspired me? You know what I mean? And how could I live with myself with integrity if I don't turn it back around to the culture that fed me, back in the day? So it makes absolute sense to me, even if it don't make sense to nobody else, that as we're building out the things that we're building at Berklee College of Music, historic Berklee College of Music, founded in 1945, that hip hop has to take front and center. And so we started out last year, Africana Studies. It was our second year in action. I was hired 3 years ago to found the new division of Africana Studies, and we brought in Roxanne Shante last year to celebrate, celebrate our queen, man.
Yeah.
And and Roxanne, she was so excited about it that she told everybody in New York, and Flavor Flav made his way out here. He wanted to celebrate his sister, so he was there. You know what I mean? And we celebrated Ed O.G. last year for all that he's done. And so it makes sense in year two. When I came to Boston in 2001, and I was looking around to figure out where the community was, and everyone's like, "Yo, you got to go check out the Floor Lords, right? You got to go check out Critical Breakdown. You need to go find Cindy Diggs. You need to go find, whatever." And so here we are 23, 24 years later, man. And I have the platform, me and my team, to be able to celebrate you all and give you your flowers while you're still alive, brothers. So that's what it's about. And we can teach.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can teach courses and do all kind of stuff, but we got to honor the shoulders that we're standing on while y'all are still standing. And so I'm passionate about that, if you can't tell, man, because folks have walked by y'all, haven't honored y'all, haven't celebrated y'all, haven't supported y'all, haven't helped y'all. But right here in Boston, is the greatest institution of higher education for contemporary creative arts, for music, dance, and theater. How can we see y'all in the backyard, man, and not celebrate y'all, pause for the cause, and honor y'all? So that's what November 13th is about. You know what I mean?
Yes,
We're going to celebrate y'all. You know what I mean?
So for those that don't know, before Dr. Price goes, November 13th, 2024 at the Berklee Performance Center. And I think tickets are probably sold out by now. And I would not.
There may be a few more, but get them now. There may be a few more, but we're going to be a packed house, brother.
We are going to have a lineup like no tomorrow. First of all, salute to Cindy Diggs, man. Salute to the mother of Boston hip hop.
Yes, that's right.
Sexy Steve.
Sexy Steve. UMMF, us making moves forever. Salute to her. Everything that she's done and still continues to do never ever gets frowned upon. Salute to these legends, Floor Lords that are here. Snow, we're going to get to you in just a moment. And to top it off, I mean, what can you say about Kid and Play? Like, Lord.
Oh my God. Amazing.
These brothers right here. Yes, these brothers right here. Kid and Play, if you're watching, you're going to sign this on Wednesday. Before you sign this. I think this is going to be a great gathering of just hip-hop powerhouses that have a positive message to send at the same time. And it's long overdue that Cindy and the Floyds get inducted. This should have happened 20 years ago, quite honestly. But Dr. Price, thank you for doing this and bringing us all together. My only request coming from Kansas City is I want reserved seats in the second row so me and my wife can enjoy this. Because my wife really doesn't love hip hop. She doesn't really know much about it. She only knows what I tell her. And I think she would really enjoy what's about to go down. So if you can make that happen, I already bought the ticket.
She gonna be like, this is what you do?
Yeah.
Hey, Daz. Hey, Daz. I think I know somebody. Let me work on that.
All right.
Hey, y'all. I'll see y'all next week, and congratulations. I can't wait to be in person with y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you go, ladies and
so
gentlemen,
much.
can we
See
make
y'all
some
next
noise
week.
for this brother right here, Dr. Emmett Price III. Let's give this man a round.
God bless you. God bless you, Dr. Price.
All right,
We're
brother.
gonna see you next Wednesday, sir. We got you, brother.
God bless you.
God bless.
Stay
God
blessed.
bless. All
Peace.
right. All right.
Be blessed, stay blessed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Snow, what up, sis?
Hey, what's going on?
We was just talking about you earlier.
I hope it was all good.
It was definitely all good. You came into this just as a fan of dance, and you would come to watch these guys do their thing wherever they popped up, and you just started to just learn your craft at home, and then you became one of the probably first female members of the Flawless crew. And then I was talking about how you went on to become one of the dancers for Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Yes. Yes.
So talk about your evolution and your journey from the beginning to working with Mark. And shout out to my brother DJ Terry Yancey, who was related to Hassan. We went to Lexington High School together, so I always got to see the crew do their thing when I would sneak backstage with Hassan and watch Terry just spin crazy. What were your early fruit? Talk about your journey from when you first started to where you are now, and what are you doing in 2024?
Right. So I started dancing, I think it was probably around 14 years old, 13 to 14. And I saw popping for the first time at a retreat. My mother used to put me into a lot of the Catholic retreats. And so I used to be a part of a lot of the youth organizations. And I saw dancing there for the first time from another dancer. His name was Snow White at the time, which AKA, this is where I got half of my name, which is Snow, which turned into Snow Love. So yeah, I just fell in love with, the minute I saw it, I fell in love with the dance. It was the most amazing thing that I have ever seen in my life. And mind you, I couldn't dance for a lick for sure, and had literally no backbone when it came to dancing. But I insisted that I wanted to learn this style, and I practiced and I watched a lot. And then gradually, as it started popping up in different areas in Boston, especially places like Dance Factory and the different clubs and stuff. I got introduced to other dancers. I ended up putting the first crew that I was a part was Cosmic Reaction, which actually Tron was in. And then it kind of spiraled from there. We did a lot of contests, and we did a lot of like Strand Theater, the Lee School, Bromley Heath. Like, we would just travel everywhere to go to the different competitions and things that they had at that time. And so then from there I just kept evolving and learning. I met a lot of the other crew members after that. We worked with an organization called Rock Against Racism, which brought a lot of us together. We really didn't have any place to practice. We didn't have spaces. So we were lucky when we were able to get anybody to give us a place to dance. Like Roxbury Community College, like back in the day, in Mission Hill, would give us space there. Rock Against Racism, UMass, which is funny. They are actually doing the hip hop archive. So it kind of came full circle with us actually working with Fran back in the day. Practicing at that space. We got a lot of different gigs, Run DMC, and a bunch of other things that we've done. And then I kind of like gradually started dancing. Shallow was, very impactful. I met him at Dance Factory. I had my first battle with him. And so that was an amazing experience. And, I just grew from there, and we ended up doing summer things. And, as you know, in the 80s, there was a lot of racially charged, energy. There was the gangs, and there was a lot of going on the busing. I was in a time when, when they started integrating the schools. And so this kind of stuff was an outlet for us to stay off the street. And then after the popping came in, obviously the breakdancing, where I got to know the rest of the crew, the breakdancing aspect of the style, which also I fell in love with as well, and wanted to learn that. And I went full first. We used to practice 7 days a week, so I mean, literally 8 hours a day with no fault. And they'd be sometimes just doing like performances and trying to raise money, like going to Faneuil Hall. We used to dance on the street down in downtown Crossing. So there was always a lot going on, and whether we were all packed in a car, 15 of us, just to get to a club, because none of us had we didn't have vehicles, or maybe not like all of us had licenses at the time. We'd get their bus, train, however we could get, to these events, because we really loved the culture and the dance. So, I mean, I was lucky enough, to meet a lot more people through breakdance and other groups like Unique Dominoes, the Boston City Breakers. And, there was just a lot of crews at that time. And Flo was an amazing member that joined the Floor Lords. He taught me a lot of the breakdancing skills that I learned at that time. And so it was a really amazing time to grow up with these guys, being the only female. I was out of the scene for a little while. I had a daughter, was married in a relationship for 16 years. And so I kind of like put my hip hop roots aside for a little bit. Thought maybe, this is not where I'm going to be, for the future, but that didn't end up being that way. It ended up, I became single and I ended up going to an event, the Black Market event down in Dudley, where the KRS One was there speaking. And when I walked into the room, I saw a lot of people that I hadn't seen in a long time, including the Wonder Twins and many other people who, were really happy to see me. And they were just like, "Where have you been? Girl, where have you been? We've been looking for you," and the energy of that, it just captivated me. And at that moment I knew, I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do. I just want to get back into my roots, back into the communities, and into the arts. And so hooked up with all these guys here again. It's been 2 years of my journey. I've been going to a lot of events. I do networking and promoting of all the events, trying to open my own kind of platform for networking, hopefully. And I'm traveling with Tron a lot. Tron and Shallow have introduced me to a lot of people, including Lino and El Nino, into the dance community, integrating me into the newer dance community, because we have a whole now younger generation, obviously. And obviously they have way more resources than what we had in our day. And so for me to videotape is a big thing for me. And I do film all the events and dancers, and whether it's dancing or rap or any kind of event, for me, that's a big deal. We couldn't even afford cameras, and we don't even barely have any, we barely have any footage of our own dance. So to me, documenting it is super important. Right now, I work 2 jobs. I'm a single parent. And, I have pretty good jobs. I work for the state and I do accounting. And so that's what I'm doing for right now. But I mean, ideally, I'd love to be able to work full time with hip hop, networking and traveling to all these events and, doing the documenting. And also I'm looking to do community outreach work and try to integrate into Boston and work with like the youth in Boston. To keep this alive. Like that was one of our plans. Obviously, we've been trying to bid for a building at one point, but which we did not get, but we are still, working towards that goal to have a place, to give back, like he said, to the community and, do something significant. And for me, I've done a lot of behind the desk work. I'm looking to like break out of that and get, into the roots of into the streets and make a difference. So that's where I am right now in my journey. And I'm super honored and privileged to be able to still be next to all of my dance friends, from the 80s here, from the Floor Lords. And, they recognize me as an important part of the group. And I love them all. They're like my brothers.
Amen, man. That was dope, man. Make some noise for Snow, everyone. Big up one time for Snow. So November 13th, what can we expect from the Flow Lords? Are we gonna see what can we see on this night? Because I know y'all ain't just gonna accept the award and then go back down to your seats. I know we're gonna see something. So insight as to what's gonna happen on Wednesday when y'all do your thing, because Snow needs to document something. So what we gonna see? What we gonna see? Who can tell me? Well, give me something.
I'll put it this way. You're definitely gonna see some old school dancing, and you're definitely gonna see the new school style of dance. And you're also gonna see how and why 43 years of excellence has carried us through this legacy. You're going to see some humble cats up there, respectful cats up there. You're going to see a family, a big family at that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cats that step on that stage, like at least a good 40 or 50.
Yeah.
Because Flow Lords runs deep. And
we have a lot of members.
But we just can't have 12 people up there, but we have to have the entire family up there. there's a lot of people that's not going to be there because we have Floor Lords China, and there's a lot of cats that can't make it from there. We have
North Carolina,
Floor Lords Atlanta, California, Florida. They're all over the place. So we plan on having different family members come up and show their love and respect for the generations of Floor Lords that's been there. You know? We're talking male and female. There's a lot of females that should be popping up as well. We love them to death. We love them dearly because without their sweat and tears as well, we couldn't be who we are. And as men, we're not the type that's like, oh, well, you're a female, you can't do this. I've always had a female in my crew. Like Snow said, you know, her and I have been dancing from its inception back then. And the Floor Lords has always had females in their crew. Always, the women represent just as strong as the men did. And that's what made us unique, man. A lot of people, you know, frown upon having a female in their crew. A lot of people frown upon treating women with equality, but that's what we do, man. And and we try to make sure that everyone shows talent.
Yeah,
that's the part about it all, man. So yeah, you're gonna see some electricity on the 13th, brother. Some Supreme.
Amen.
Ain't that right?
I can't wait. I can't wait. And I don't think I'm assuming that this is going to happen that night, where you all will do a tribute to Float in some way, shape, or form that night.
There's a lot of other soldiers as well.
We have a lot of other members. We're gonna do something for them too.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
We're definitely gonna speak on them.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah.
Man.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. So
this is going to be.
I'm sorry, Daz. So what we're going to do is in the future, every year we have an anniversary.
Yeah.
Our yearly anniversary. So I think next year we're really going to try to focus on a memorial soldier type of tribute to all the fallen soldiers. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, man. Float's smile always made me laugh. Just
yeah, he was contagious.
He was a jokester too. He was such a jokester, but he was just, man, it's just very, very. He loved what he did. He did what he loved, and it really showed.
And he was the best.
And he was truly dope. And when I found out that he was no longer with us, when I found out initially, it was just like, dang, man. It was just like I was just with him yesterday type vibe, and it's just like. I know he's watching down from heaven, and he will be celebrating that night. Absolutely. So before we go, because my wife is home and she's cooking very good food right now, and I don't want to.
I know you're hungry. I know
we're all coming over.
I know you're hungry.
No, you not. Shoot. No. You got to come to Kansas City first of all. I'm not in Mass anymore.
My God, that's too far to be all gone.
Yeah, man. See, come on down. But in all due seriousness, what do y'all want to be remembered for when, and I don't want to say when it's all said and done, because it'll never be said and done, but when you guys stop and really take a mental look at everything that you've done over the almost 4 decades now, if not 5, how do you want to be remembered from those that you got a chance to entertain and mentor and be around?
Being the very best, the best of the best, and being blessed.
Amen. Amen. Flair's an MC too. Watch out now. Amen. Seriously, this has been a true. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Nah, this is all you. Anyone else want to chime in?
Well, pretty much.
I'll chime in after Tron.
We all like to be known as and remembered as leaders in our own right. Everyone in this crew has leadership qualities, and they all have led because we all have taught. So being a teacher is like being a leader. So if you're able to teach somebody, it shows you have leadership qualities. And everyone here can attest to that because they have given their blood, sweat, and tears to teach others and had others move on and be successful and have great careers as well. So that's something that we would like to remember that.
All right, Lino, you want to add to that, my brother?
Yeah, I mean, I think Tron is right, man. You know, I think you know, being known as community leaders, but also you know, also known for all the good work we've done in the community, you know,
Yeah.
and keeping that going too. You know what I'm saying? Because I think for us, it's just not about, you know, even doing it in Boston. You know, I'm doing it in Hawaii. My son is doing it in California.
That's right.
You know, and there are other members who are doing it in different cities, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and countries. You know, so I
Yeah.
think, you know, being known for just being able to share, you know, what we do to other communities to keep, you know, the crew going, you know, the legacy going, because I think
Yeah.
it's, you know,
Exactly.
it's about the legacy for us, you know, to keep the legacy shining and growing, you know. So that's what you know, that's what I think, you know, as far as all of us, you know,
I
I
agree.
think, you know.
Amen. Amen and amen. Amen. Ladies
And
and
I
gentlemen,
want to add to that for me is definitely, if you can conceive something, you can achieve that something. Therefore, all things and anything is possible.
That's right.
amen.
And
Amen and
floor
amen.
lords are the legacy
Yeah, and also to add
to
on
live
to
by.
that, people say floor lords. They say they inspired us. You know,
Yeah.
inspirational.
Amen. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2024 Berklee College of Music inductees, Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. It is all going down. Stand up and a clap for these amazing leaders right here. Stand up and clap. Absolutely. I cannot wait to see what it is y'all do. But on a more personal note, I also want to thank y'all for giving me the chance to be a part of your movement, having me host the Floor Lord play that you all used to do. Man, those were some of the greatest moments. I'll never forget. My mother was in the front row during that. And after it was done, we were going home. She's like, son, those guys were great. And I was like, thanks. Thank you, mother. And then in her usual joyful stuff, like, how do you get a guy like you to host that? I'm like, thanks, mom. Thanks. This thanks. And I know she was joking, but nah, she really wanted to just say thank you because you got to showcase all forms of dance from her era to our era and even into the future. So she really got to see a worldview of what dance really is. And that's what that play really, really exemplifies. So she wanted me to tell you thank you because I told her I was going to interview you guys today. And she's like, let them know that I said that. I never forgot that play.
Thank you.
The best time at the Strand Theater I ever had and everything. So Lino and the guys, thank
Floor
you.
Lord 2025 is coming back. Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm with that. So let them know how they can find you guys on social media. Plug the website, plug the classes. Yeah, the floor is yours, man. Do what y'all do.
Okay.
Floorlord.org, baby.
Floorlord.org. leanski.com.
Yep.
elnino.com. leanrock.
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat.
Yeah, you can put it in the chat.
Snow One Love.
Okay.
Instagram.
All right. I'm gonna follow each and every last one of y'all, and I cannot wait to see you guys.
And Slaughterhouse too. Don't forget that.
Hey,
Open sessions.
You guys next Wednesday. It's going to be amazing time. If you have not gotten your tickets yet for this event, I suggest you get them right now because by the end of this weekend, they will all.
I'm buying my tickets real soon, like tonight.
How you buying tickets? You're being
seriously.
inducted.
We're a part of the Floor Lords.
It's 6 inductees, so the 6 inductees get passes. Yeah. There's a lot of rules to it. There's a lot of rules.
Yeah,
so
Dash,
you know
buy
what
yours
Dash
now.
does? Dash doesn't deal with that. I just buy my own.
Amen. Well, they're only $16, ladies and gentlemen. That's not a whole lot.
I think it was 13. It's not bad.
Well, I had to pay 16, so but either way, that's still pretty good. I will take it.
Let me jump on that.
So thank you guys for taking this time out. It's good to see a lot of you again. Air, Flare, and Mad. This is my first time actually meeting you guys, but it's been a pleasure. I can't wait to meet y'all in person as well. As for everyone else, it was good to catch up with y'all again. I cannot wait to see you guys next Wednesday. Thank you so much for this time. These are your.
It was so good. It was so good to catch up with you, man.
I'll
man. Catch up with you when you get back in town.
I'll see you on. I'll be back Saturday. My wife and I are coming on Saturday.
Absolutely, my ninja. I'll see you soon.
Stay blessed, fellas. Love y'all.
Yes,
Love
sir.
you guys, man. Thank y'all for doing this. Floor Lords in the building. Make some noise one more time for them. Here we go.
Peace.
Bye, everybody.
All right.
God bless y'all,
Nice
man.
meeting
I'll
you.
see y'all next Wednesday.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, y'all.
Bye.
Yes, sir.
Peace.